Before we get into the video, I need to talk to you guys about some new LUTs that I have put on my digital store. I have some new C200 LUTs that I have been working on, as well as a new LUT for the Canon R5. It is a basic standard log, Canon log to Rec 709 that I personally feel works and gives a better looking image than the standard Canon LUT that Canon provides. And it gives a more neutral look that is easier to match cameras with. It is built designed for that, in which you can use more creative looks to sort of get that look that you want. And the beauty about all of this is that it's only $1 a piece. So definitely check out the digital store. But enough talking, let's get on to the video. What is up, everybody? James Jackson here, back again with another video. If you're new to my channel, I do tips, tricks, news, and reviews for the film and video making industry. So if you do like the content here, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you can stay up to date on all the content going forth. If you would also like to support the channel, you can become a member of our Patreon group. So definitely go over there and check that out. First off, I would like to thank you all for the love and support of the recent video I posted on the R5. I really do appreciate that. For those who do not know, I recently went to Atlantic City to do a model video shoot with my good friend Lenora using the Canon R5. She was a real trooper, and it's always fun to work with her. If you haven't seen the video, I will definitely make sure to leave it down in the description below, as well as a link to Lenora's IG page in case you want to learn more about her. For the past 3 years, I would like to go to the beach one time to do a summer model shoot. However, this year is a bit different due to the pandemic, so I'm not sure if I was able to get a chance to hit it by the time the fall came. But luckily, this past week we had a good day where there was little to no clouds and the weather was relatively warm. Seeing as this was probably my last chance before the full changing of the seasons, I hit Lenora up, and as always, she was game. For this shoot, I wanted to take the Canon EOS R for a number of different reasons. First, I wanted to show that you can absolutely film with this camera on a serious video shoot without overheating. The second reason was I wanted to see how the 8K and the 4K 120 FPS work together in a single timeline, as the 8K RAW gains access to C-Log2, which can go up to about 15 plus stops of dynamic range, and the 4K 120 can currently only gain access to the original Canon log, which maxes out at about 12 stops of dynamic range. Finally, one of the big reasons I brought the Canon EOS R5 was to make it my main travel video camera for when I travel with the family or if I'm doing business reasons. So to me, this would make it the perfect test for all three reasons. To work alongside the Canon EOS R5, I brought my Zhiyun Weebill S and used only the 24-105 f4L RF lens, because honestly, I can't afford any other RF lenses at the moment. And then finally, I brought my Simod hard stop variable ND filter to help control the lighting of the shoot. Throughout the shoot, I shot at ISO 400, which is the native ISO on the R5, at 24 frames per second when filming in 8K RAW, and obviously 120 frames per second for 4K 120. Shutter speed stayed at 150 in 8K RAW and 1/250 in 4K 120. The aperture fluctuated between wide open at f4 all the way down to f8. In regards to the Zhiyun Weebill S, I absolutely love this gimbal with the EOS R5. It is so small and compact, and the R5 fits perfectly on it without any issues or needing any additional accessories, unlike my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. Balancing the R5 on the Weebill S is also very simple, especially given that you can lock each axis and work at balancing one at a time. This was the first time I've ever balanced the R5 on the gimbal, and I got it perfectly balanced in less than 5 minutes. This setup is perfect for those who may want to travel lightly and can easily disassemble the Weeble S and put it in a satchel bag like my Ona Eunice Street leather bag, and still have room to pack the R5 and the lens attached. It also handled the payload for me, moving my focal length without giving me any motor issues. With these two combos, I was able to get a wide array of footage, from tracking my model down the beach to low angle shots of her sitting on the water, and the Weeble S can handle the R5 in the infinite roll mode as well. In regards to what media I use ProGrade's 512 gigabyte CF Express card. And this is important because if you read about the minimum read and write speed, this is the minimum card you will need from ProGrade in order to film 8K RAW and 4K 120p. The other CF Express cards below the Gold 512, which is the Gold 256 and the Gold 128, they do not have the minimum read and write speed requirements in order to use the highest recording modes. Now, you can get the Cobalt versions of these cards, which are faster than the Gold 512. However, I would strongly recommend you staying away from those cards, as they seem to have been reported to have issues with the R5. And I also suspect that the Cobalt versions also increase the chance of overheating, as they generate significantly more heat writing to cards, as they are way faster than the Gold 512. But if you want to know where you can get a Gold 512 card from ProGrade, I will leave an affiliate link in the description below, and you can help the channel out by throwing a little commission money my way at no extra cost to you. So we wrapped up shooting and it went splendid. We filmed for about 2.5 hours with zero overheating issues, and let me just say I didn't get an overheat warning at any point of filmmaking. I avoided this by using what will be probably the most effective means of managing the heat, and that is simply turning the camera off anytime I was not either filming or reviewing the files. Now, once I got back to my editing studio, the first thing I did was transcode all of the 4K 120 files to ProRes, as H.265 is unusable for me in DaVinci Resolve. It doesn't even show the video files, just the audio, even though I can open up the file in VLC and see the video is there. Now, I don't know if this is just my laptop or if it's the hard drives that I stored them on, as when my friend opened up the H.265 files on his computer, he was able to see and play the files without loss of visuals. Now, his editing suite is an iMac, while mine's is a PC. But just to be aware that whether you can even see the files in Resolve may vary depending on the computer you own. So to transcode the H.265 files, I use a program called ER Media Toolkit from AudioSpot. Now, this is a free software and it works amazingly well. You simply set the codes, which obviously is ProRes LT 422 HQ proxy of your choice. You didn't just set where the target destination is, and then set the footage on either progressive, which is the default, or interlace. And then finally, you just simply set up if you want to prioritize speed or quality. Now, I have to say, when it comes to quality, I see very little difference. However, you do see a major difference in terms of speed, which leads me to my only downside of this software, which is it takes forever to process. If you have large enough H.265 files to transcode, you will spending a day just getting these files converted over to ProRes. So the way I look at it is, if I have a serious paid gig, I use the quality mode, as I typically will be able to budget in a time for transcoding. For everything else, I use speed mode. So after you get all those settings in place, just simply drag whatever files you want to transcode and drop them in the media window, and just wait till it's done transcoding. After transcoding is complete, I begin working on my editing, which is actually pretty easy. The 8K RAW files are actually pretty smooth to go through after you render the timeline at full resolution, but you can still drop the resolution to help speed up the process if you need to pick up the pace. Once I got my edit portions done, I move over to the color tab and begin my grading. And this is where I absolutely love this camera and where my love for this camera grows more and more. Even though the 8K files are using C-Log2 and the 4K 120 files are using Canon Log, getting these two camera curves to match was fairly easy. In fact, I would just drop my Canon Log2 Arri LUT on the 8K RAW files, and it only needs a bit of contrast and color boosting, and then just making the Arri look for the C-Log files, and it was basically a wrap from there. And speaking of that Canon Log Arri LUT, I am happily to announce that I have put up this Arri lookalike LUT on my digital store. It's now available for purchase at a very affordable price. You can head over there and see the LUT for yourself. So there you have it. This was an experience from shooting to post with the Canon EOS R5 for this beach shoot. I love this camera. The more and more I film with it, it has some of the most beautiful images I have seen on a camera in a while. I'm going to be putting out my review of the camera soon, so stay tuned. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment below and make sure once again to hit that subscribe button. But until next time, take care everyone.